Welcome to part 3 of our Fallout 4 in 2022 series, and in today's video we're going to be looking at starting our settlement builds, and the first stage is clearing out the settlement area. So I'm just going to put together a small guide on scrapping to help you along your way. So short video today, but I think you'll find it very useful. So let's get cracking. I don't usually rely on mods in games, but for Fallout 4, I'm making an exception, as there are a couple of mods that do enhance the game. The first one is the unofficial Fallout 4 patch, which fixes a whole host of bugs and adds different features that improve the game overall. The second mod that I use is the immersive scrapping mod, which has two sections to it. It has the tidy up and the actual mod itself. And this allows me to scrap things in the settlement like leaves and hedges and other things that in the base game you can't scrap. This enhances the game because you can scrap a whole tree for wood or scrap a whole car for components in the base game, but you can't sweep up a few leaves. So it makes more sense to have this mod. And finally, Manufacturing Extended, which adds a couple more machines to the manufacturing side of things, including a component extractor, object extractor, recycler, and a few more. I mainly use this for the recycler, which allows me to break down all my gathered materials into their base components, just so I can see at a glance in my workshop what I have and what I need. And this is basically the only mods that I use. I don't do anything to further weapons or anything like that because that seems a little bit cheaty. It's entirely up to you if you want to use these mods, but I would recommend that all the official DLCs are part of your game because they add stuff to the workshop as well and components for settlement building, so I highly recommend them. So let's get straight into clearing up our settlement site. Scrapping is very easy in Fallout 4, but some items can't be scrapped. For instance, any bottles of drink or food items, they need to be stored, and you can just right click in workshop mode and store them in the workshop. Other items you can scrap, which will give you, for instance, this handy fuel is steel and oil, and the globe will give you screws, cork, and plastic. You'll find various items of furniture around your settlements, and you can move these around simply by holding the E key, but they can also be scrapped as well. Workstations can be moved around or scrapped. I don't recommend scrapping any to begin with. And again, just by holding the E key, you can move the workbench anywhere you want. Once you're happy, just press E again, and it'll be in its new position. You'll be scrapping containers as well, and as you can see, this dresser has a sea captain's hat. If you go and look in our workshop, you see there's no sea captain's hat in there. But when you scrap the dresser, the sea captain's hat will be right there in the workshop. So you don't have to worry about going around emptying out all the containers in your settlement before scrapping them. This is very handy and saves a lot of time. And with items that are around your settlement that are actual base game items like this street lamp, simply right click on them and scrap them, and you'll get the base components put into your workshop. With the mods that I have installed, I can scrap these leaves for fertilizer, which is very handy and very rare in the game. So every little helps. And sometimes you'll come across ruined buildings where you can scrap the whole building. And the mod also allows shrubs and bushes to be scrapped as well. Then if we look at the settlement before we go around and tidy it up, you can see it's very cluttered, lots of debris everywhere, and a real nightmare to build in. So I'm going to go ahead and clear everything out. As you can see, the settlement area is now nice and clear. You can see exactly what you're doing. We've also cleared out all the buildings, which will allow you to set up beds for settlers, as well as the stores, and any other uses you can think of. We have some concrete bases for building on, which will come in handy. And you can move freely around the settlement area now that all the trees, bushes and everything else have been cleared away. And we now have the chemistry station moved here from behind one of the buildings, the cooking station. So we now have a complete workshop in one space, make life easier. And looking in our workshop, you can see that we've got lots of items in our junk. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to put it in a recycler, just so we can break everything down to its basic components, just to make it easier to see in the workshop storage. So we need to go to power, manufacturing, machinery, and with the mod we have installed, we have the recycler. We'll place one of them down. And in the miscellaneous, it gives us a conveyor storage, which will put everything into our workshop. Set down a power generator. We need a medium one because the recycler takes 5 power. Hooking it up, and we can now take everything out of our workshop. We can leave the items that are already broken down into their components and just take the items that need to be recycled. As you can see, once we finish with this, we'll just have the base components in there, so we won't have to scroll through to find things. And we just place them into the recycler. Now as the recycler does its thing, base components come out into the conveyor storage. Back into the workshop. So that's it for this video. Just a brief introduction into scrapping. In the next video we're going to be building some settlement buildings. Start to build up our settlement. So I hope you find this useful. If you have, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.